We are live. So, welcome back, everybody, to the Absurdity podcast, where Doug and I discuss some psychology stuff, communication, some fitness stuff, and some absurd hypotheticals. We've got some stuff in store for you today. But first, Doug had a little date last night, and he'd like to explain how it went. So please.
I just want to explain the absurd thing that's happened because I've never been on a date where this actually happened. I think I've joked about it before, but it actually
I
happened.
haven't heard this, by the way. I'm excited to hear it.
So I'm talking to this girl at the second floor of this brewery. She's never been to this brewery before. I like it. There's like a really good raspberry cider there that I like. So I'm very like in my element and like I feel like I own the place. So I'm sitting there at the second floor, like hitting my vape, talking to this girl. Great interaction, and then there's some sort of confrontation going down, like maybe 2 buildings over and across the street. And it's like this really ghetto, blacked out like club. And there's like a whole bunch of like weaves everywhere and people like yelling at each other and like men like breaking up women fighting. And I just ignore it because like this girl's like telling me a story. I'm trying to be invested.
Trying to be involved.
There's like people yelling out like they're about to fight. And that's one of my favorite altercations to witness. So
You don't fight.
Not the slightest.
No.
So I like made one comment. I was like, what is going on over there? We ignore it. Eventually, there was like some gaps in the conversation, and I was like, let's change the environment. So I was like, let's go play a game. And we walked down the stairs to the back part of this brewery where we have a bunch of games, and we hear pop, 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 pop.
No. No, are you serious?
And I immediately like turned to the girl and I was like, those are gunshots. And I like tried to like guide her away a little bit, and she was like, no, there's no way. And
She
I was
didn't
like,
react?
No, she was like, let's go see. And I was like, let's not. And that was definitely like, pop, 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 ain't no fireworks, you know? That's not a firecracker. Like
Several car backfires in a row.
Yes, like it was pretty you've shot a gun before, like you know what it sounds like.
It's a distinct sound.
Right.
I
And
can't believe she wanted to investigate.
she did. And I'm like, okay, I guess we're gonna go look. And there's like this opening to the back of where we were, and we walked to the opening, and I'm hugging the wall because I play Warzone, and she is like just walking straight into the open, no cover, no nothing, and just like turning. And I look around the corner, I was like, there's like nothing there. And then this like little Cadillac, this beat up Cadillac just flies down the road at 60.
Ooh.
And it's on Central, so it's like a 15-mile-an-hour zone, so
Yeah.
60's a lot.
With like speed bumps and stop signs.
Yes. And we didn't see anything. So we just kind of like walked around the block, and then we went for a walk. And we literally started to approach the scene that we thought it happened at. And there's 8 cops that literally roll up on us as if like we were about to get jumped. And there's one cop with like a big old rifle, and then there's like cops blocking off like 2 intersections, and we're just kind of walking through as the cops are investigating. And she looks to the left because she's on my left because I'm a swell guy. And she points out the bullet holes, the fresh bullet holes in the wall. And I was like, I knew it. But we kept walking.
That is wild.
We kept walking. We played a pinball somewhere, and like we came back, and I walked her to her car, and as we were walking back, they taped it off in the time that we like walked.
Huh.
But it was just like one of those things where it's like, that is absurd. That on a date, literally across the street, I didn't necessarily witness it, but a whole shooting happened, like a drive-by. And I'm supposed to be like, having fun with this girl, like, learning about her, and something happened.
That is an absurd story.
Yeah.
I can't believe that. Like, whenever we go downtown, it seems like the last, I don't know, maybe month or 2, I've been noticing a lot of, like, armed guards.
Yes.
Like, I don't know if it's new or if I'm just noticing it or what, but the last couple months, I've noticed, like, every business, every bar, even the pizza places had armed guards at them.
We'll touch the pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Like, dude, don't come in here. Don't come in here for that
Lines
pizza.
get long, don't cut.
But yeah, I don't know. Like, maybe St. Pizza experiencing a little
zone.
crime.
Crime rates in the city of Rose.
Makes it exciting when we go downtown.
They do. They need Batman.
Batman? Yeah.
That was it. I was
Pulled up in the Batmobile.
What song is that?
It's a DaBaby song. I'm not sure. But I wanted to ask you about fighting because it kind of like got brought up already. But I know that you like to fight and stuff, and you've been like taking a little break from Jiu Jitsu and whatever else you were.
Muay Thai.
Muay Thai. That's what it is. But we've been boxing a little bit, so we've been like in the gym a little bit training. But talk to me about your fighting a little bit. How's it going? Like,
So,
where are you at with it?
Obviously, I think you would have the best perspective on that because every time I've like been like working on it, I've been with you. I kind of like stopped training at home, stopped like hitting my heavy bag. I like put up my double-ended bag, which is a bag that's connected on 2 strings, so it like moves really fast. You've probably seen like
I know what you're talking about.
yes, that thing's like really fun to work
I
on.
want to try one of those.
I have one.
All right, I'll come over and use it.
I could set it up for you. I can definitely do that.
That'll be fun.
Anyway.
Anyway.
I even have like one of those like I have like a ratchet speed bag that I made. But it's like a really like ghetto setup at my house. But anyways, I kind of stopped training. But I'm thinking about getting back into it because I am moving my education all online for next semester, and I want to get a different job, make more money, and get back into fighting. And it's just because that was like the biggest thing that changed in the last 5 years for me was the transition from like high school sports to like trying to get into my adult life and still carrying some sort of athletic activity with me. And I realized through some different like I don't know some like self-realization that having an event that people like all come to support you and like all the preparation that leads up to like almost hosting an event.
Okay.
That's like the feeling is like really awesome, and I want to like continue to do it, and I want it again because I haven't fought since before COVID.
So you want to like do an actual fight again?
Yes, and I'm looking if I...
You were gonna do it in like what, February?
February 20th of this year, I had a fight lined up for 205. I had an opponent. 2 weeks out, I got a stress fracture in my right shin just from shin-to-shin contact with somebody.
You do shin-to-shin contact with me every day. This guy, so look, we go to the gym, and like we were just talking about, we go to the gym and we box. And boxing means that you use this hand and you throw them like that. And Doug, for some reason, enjoys using his shins. And I'm not sure why, because we're boxing, but Doug likes to just kick me all the time. He just kicks me all the time.
It's a fun pastime. It's like baseball in USA American sports.
Yeah, that's what it is.
USA American
My shin was bleeding the other day.
Yeah, it was. But that's because it wasn't shin on shin. It's because it was shoe on your shin.
Sorry. Doug's shoe hit my shin.
I shoe shinned you.
Yeah. That did not feel good.
That's not funny, though. That's not joke.
And actually, Doug actually hit me in the face yesterday. Pretty good.
He asked for it.
We were sparring a little bit.
He asked for that, too.
But I got my lip busted. And so today...
Your lip busted?
Yeah, so last night and today, I'm like, oh, why does my lip hurt? I'm driving around in the Uber, and I'm like talking to people. I'm like, what is that? And then I looked in the mirror, and I was like, son, God, you hit me in the lip. And it busted it open.
Where else am I going to aim?
You hit me in the nose a bunch, too, so if that makes you feel better.
Well, what do you expect from, like, fighting? Like, UFC style?
Me and Doug sparred for a little bit, though, and we probably should have stopped, like, 2 minutes earlier.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
Absolutely not. I can do that for an hour and a half.
Oh, sorry.
Like, just sparring.
Doug's a fighter, though. I'm not really a fighter. I think it's fun, but Doug's, like, a lot more involved. Like, I think it's fun to do and practice and, like, learn about, but Doug's like, let's actually fight.
We have to talk to, like, a real fighter to, like, understand that mindset a little
No,
bit.
I know. And, like, it's definitely different because I don't see it the same way. Like, we've talked about it a lot, and, like, I appreciate your point of view from it, but it doesn't align
right, but I'm
in my
amateur.
brain.
I'm not, like, professional or in, like, a famous, like, promotion. So, like, have you talked to anyone like that? Like, that's...
Yes. So I had that guy in the Uber the other day that was a UFC fighter.
What was his name?
I forgot his name. Did you look it up?
I did look it up. I don't have it.
Was it Barnett? Josh Barnett?
Josh Barnett,
Josh
yes.
Barnett. So I had this guy in the Uber the other day, and he was going to Tampa from St. Pete area. And so him and his friend were in the back, and we were just talking a little bit. And he mentioned that he used to fight, like, in the early 2000s. So then we started talking a little bit about it. But like you said, his mindset is very different. Like, when he's explaining to me why he enjoys it, or, like, what he's doing, or, like, what's happening, it's, like, focused, like, very masculine energy, like, very testosterone fueled.
Primal.
Like, primal. Very, like, I'm just here to beat this guy up. And I don't quite understand that perspective. Like, I don't feel that way. But I appreciate it.
Have you ever, like, I think you told me the other day you're interested in Jiu Jitsu.
Yes. Jiu Jitsu fascinates me because it's more of, like, a intellectual game.
Exactly.
Whereas, like, boxing is more of, like, hitting and stuff. And it's a little intellectual, I guess, but it's more or less just hitting. Whereas Jiu Jitsu, I feel like, has more of a I don't know what the word is.
Intricate
Yes,
way
yes.
of like to play.
Yes.
So
There's a lot of stuff going on.
I would say the best way to look at any mixed martial art or any type of fighting, any like style, is like a chess match. You have checkers, you have chess.
We
and
play checkers.
We play checkers. That's what boxing is. There's just so like there's not a lot you can do.
Yeah.
There's only like 9 to 11 different like strikes you can like functionally throw good. Everything
Yeah.
else is just kind of like not strong.
And even the ones we can throw, we don't throw that great.
Exactly. But like timing, precision, like it's a game. You're moving your pieces. You have to set it up. You have to think 10 moves ahead.
Yeah.
That's probably like that's the attraction for you for
That
jiu-jitsu.
definitely is. Because when we box and spar and stuff, that's what's interesting to me is whenever we go and if I see like an opening on your shoulder here,
Mm-hmm.
like you just threw something in that little split second, I can see an opening. And
Right.
that gets me really excited because I'm like, I got an opportunity. I got an opportunity to throw a punch.
You take the opportunity.
And it's so fun when you have that because it's split second. It's so quick. It is fun though.
A lot of taking advantage of opportunities.
Yeah. No, it's definitely fun. Like, if any of you guys have thought about it or, like, had wanted to get into it at all, like any type of martial art, I guess, I would say it's worth getting into a little bit.
Jiu-jitsu first.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go all the way, though, either. You don't have to be, like, fighting and, like,
Oh,
all the way.
absolutely not.
But you can just, like, train and learn about it. And, like, if you had a basic understanding, like, I think the biggest thing is when you know how to fight a little bit and you know how to handle your body and, like, look for those opportunities, then you have a lot more confidence because when we're out
Ooh.
downtown or if we're like
Ooh.
at the store or wherever you're at, it's not like you're looking for a fight or anything, but you know that you can defend yourself at a basic level.
Yes.
So you're a lot more confident because there's not like fear. You're not like, oh, this guy could beat me up. Like it's like if you needed to beat me up, then I can beat you up too.
You know how to handle yourself.
Exactly.
That's probably the biggest thing I learned from like fighting from like teenager to my adulthood, which
Yeah.
is weird to say. Is like it's like a huge confidence booster. It makes you think about like others and yourself differently, and I don't necessarily think it gives you an ego.
No,
I think
that's the weird thing about it. It doesn't. It almost humbles you because you know what it's
Yes.
like to get hit, and you're like, I don't like getting hit in the face. I don't want to hit other people in the face unless I need to, or unless I'm doing it for fun, like if we're at the gym.
I'd say humble is the most important word you said, because in jiu-jitsu, there's guys that have been training for 10 plus years, black
Monsters.
belts, and they can kill you. They don't want to punch you. They don't want to kick you. They don't want to knee you. They don't want to elbow you.
They want to choke you out.
They want you to take them down. They want you to come up and tackle them, and they want to be flat on their back because that is their strongest position to be in to put like someone out. And it's scary.
Well, we
And-
watch that in the fights on Saturday nights.
yes.
Like some of those guys, like we go out sometimes and watch the fights on Saturday nights, and some of the fights, it blows you away because it's the guy will be on his back, like you said, and he'll do some intricate moves, and it's like I don't even understand it because I'm not as knowledgeable, but it is wild to see what they can do with their hands and their feet and their like body.
It's all about like leveraging what you're saying about like knowing like how your body works and feeling comfortable with yourself.
Yeah. And I think that kind of goes like across the whole range though. I mean, when we go to the gym and just lift weights, it's kind of the same thing too. Like you're more confident in like how your body works and like what kind of weight you can handle, what kind of things you can do.
The mind to muscle connection.
Yeah. And then even like when I went on my road trip and stuff, that's a big thing I learned. Not in a physical way, but like being okay on your own. You know what I mean? Like I'm by myself in the car around the country. So I have to figure out things by myself and I have to be like confident that I can handle things. So it's like the same type of feeling, the same type of thought process as fighting or being, you know, able to defend yourself. And when you're by yourself, like as you're maturing and you're getting older and doing different things, you have to be okay to navigate by yourself and be confident that you can handle things by yourself. And so like I think fighting helps aid that because once you can defend yourself a little bit, then that piece is already covered.
So would you say that's like the biggest thing you took from your trip?
I would say so. I mean, because that trip was it was just very interesting for me because I'm young, I'm 21, and you know what I mean, just like everybody else, I'm trying to figure out what to do in life and how to do things and how to think and like what things make up me. You know what I mean, all kinds of different complex questions. And being on the road for 3 months by myself gives you ample time. I mean, I had so much time to just sit in the car and think about stuff or like evaluate things or meet new people and figure out what people I like or what places I like, what activities I like. Mm-hmm. And so it all kind of boiled down to like figuring out how to be okay by myself, though. And I saw this thing like a couple months ago that was saying how did it say it? Maturing is the same thing as learning to be okay by yourself. So basically it was saying, like, as you're a kid, you've got your parents, you've got your teachers, you've got these different authority figures that basically tell you how to do things and when to do them and what to do. And then as you grow up and mature, everything is basically becoming self-reliant.
Yes.
Like, how do you do things yourself? And so that's what that trip really did for me. Like, I would say is the biggest thing is that it just taught me, because the thing is I thought I was self-reliant before.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I had lived on my own. I had been in college. I graduated college, started working at different jobs. Mm-hmm. So, like, I had some independence. You know what I mean? Like, I knew what I was doing. I was self-sufficient. But then when I went on that trip, it just got thrown out the window because there's no community. I don't know anybody. Like, I can't go to the CVS down the street and accidentally run into someone. I can't go to, wherever and accidentally run into someone. So that, like, it's a weird thing to think about because you don't realize it until it's not there. But mm-hmm. that was probably the biggest thing. Just, like, complete self-isolation almost. You know what I mean? And then you learn how to do things yourself and how to be okay alone. And then, I went from there. And now I come back and it's like, oh, I'm so grateful for community. And I'm so, like, appreciative to have, like, my friends and my family and, like, just the community. You know what I mean? Because you don't realize how important it is until you don't have it.
Because humans at a base level, I heard, like, Jordan Peterson talking about this recently, are a very social species, regardless if you're an introvert or an extrovert or you feel better being alone. Like, there has to be some sort of sense of community in your life.
Yeah. And like you said, there's some people that are better on their own, but they still have some sort of sense of community. Yeah. There's still some social ability going on.
They still need it.
Yes. I think I read or watched that same thing.
Really?
Because I thought it was really interesting. I love Jordan Peterson. I love how he talks about, like, different, I don't know what the word would be. He talks about, like, different psychological things.
Yes.
That they're hard to discuss. But, like, when he talks about them, it seems like it makes, like, a lot of sense to me. Like, he seems like it does it pretty clearly.
What I found that he does predominantly well is that he can line up steps for problems that don't seem like they have any steps. Like, we were talking about utilizing tools recently to, like, mm-hmm. deal with problems, and there's no, like, step-by-step process to get to, like, an end solution you want. There's some way that he can, like, make it make sense to you, where he's like, these are the different steps you do. Yeah. And actually, I was watching
he does it backwards.
Does it backwards?
Not like backwards, but I'm saying, like, he works backwards from a solution. Like, he always has something that's, like, kind of going to work, and then he works backwards and says, like, this is what you actually do need to do to get there.
He sets the goal and then discovers the means and, like, the first thought that goes into, like, thinking about the steps and then the problem and then the possible solutions, weeding out the solutions and then the result. Yeah. And I love that. That was, like, the big part of the video I watched yesterday, or listened to, was he was giving a speech on how to, like, handle problems by yourself, and he said to, like, write it down. And I used to journal a lot, not every day, because I think that was a little bit too much.
It's hard to do it every day. I try doing it every day. It's hard.
I don't want to, like, write every day. Like, I don't have enough to, like, talk about. Like, I think about a bunch of random dumb stuff. Like, I don't want to write it down.
That's what the podcast is for.
It's for you.
This is the dumb things that we think about.
Absolutely absurd.
This is what this is for. A platform for dumb things.
But no, I think, like, maybe you can take something from this. Is, like, whenever there's a solution, especially a social problem or a goal that you want to meet that involves working with others or like family or something like that, that you should write it down. Yeah. Like, literally, like, you're in school, like, write out the problem and then write out, like, all the different types of possible solutions that you want, to write out the ones that can happen, and then weed off the ones that are ridiculous. Yeah. Like, you might want someone to wake up every morning and make you, like, a full English breakfast, and you're like, well, my mom's not going to do that for me, my dad's not going to do that for me. Like, you have to cross out the ridiculous
You mean you're
stuff.
Not going to make me an English breakfast?
No matter how much you ask, I'm going to make myself an egg and not you.
Let me explain what Doug is referencing right now. So, about a week ago, Doug was over, and we were getting ready to go to the gym. And we were in a little bit of a mood. Some things had happened, we'll say. But regardless, we were about to go to the gym. And so I was like, hey, Doug, would you mind going into the kitchen and making us some eggs real quick? Because I still had to get ready and do a handful of other things before we left.
Yeah, because I do that all
And
the
Doug
time.
was like, no, I'm definitely not going to do that.
I might be hungry, but no.
Being very disagreeable. But then here's what happened. This is what's really messed up, in my opinion. Doug didn't make the breakfast. Then I went out and made some breakfast for myself because Doug was like, basically, I'm not hungry. I'm not going to eat, whatever. Fine. Then I made breakfast. And Doug starts eating my breakfast. And I was like, Doug, go get your own breakfast then, if this is how we're going to do it. But anyway.
And I did.
We had a little dispute.
No, like, I ate some of your stuff, and then I was like, I'm going to go make me some of this. So I just went and made
some Rice Krispies.
I made, like, double what you made for myself after eating, like, a quarter of what you already had.
You forgot the best part. So Doug makes the breakfast, and he tries it, and I said, what do you think? He goes, I don't like it. I don't like this frittata.
I did not.
I don't like it at all. And I was like, so not only have we gone through this whole difficult process, but now you don't want the breakfast?
No. I was just hungry, man.
But anyway, we were having fun the other day.
When I'm not thinking, I just, like, do the first thing I think I want. When I'm not thinking, I just do the first thing that, like, comes to mind.
Like gut feeling.
Yeah, I follow my gut.
That's good. No, that's a good thing to do. I always try and do the same thing, but sometimes your brain doesn't let you. But, like, if you can follow your gut all the time, I feel like you're pretty much going to be good.
I felt like you don't like that restriction on your gut movement or, like, your gut instinct. You don't like that feeling of, like, it's almost like you're being, like, something's pressed up against you. It's, like, pushing you back a little bit.
Like, you want to do something because you think it's the right thing to do, whatever it is, and then your brain's kind of like,
I don't know about that. You should wait.
Let's reevaluate.
Then you, like, push, and eventually there's, like, a release of the barricade. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This just reminds me of something that I just was thinking about. When I was in college, backstory, I always really liked taking tests. No, that sounds weird. I've always liked taking tests, though. I've always been good at taking tests, and I enjoy it. So, when I was in college, we used to take, all kinds of tests.
Yeah.
And it was just, like, interesting that you point that out, though, because I don't know how to explain this. I'll come back to it. I don't know how I'm going to, like, progress through this.
You do like taking tests, though.
I do like taking tests.
I like the tests that you do send me sometimes.
I send Doug and everybody tests all the time. And, like, most of the time
quiz,
everybody all takes them. I can't believe that everyone takes the tests. Like, 2 or 3 days ago, I sent everybody a personality test, and it was, like, basically telling you what animal you are, like how you fit into the animal kingdom. So it's kind of fun. It's just like a, dumb little test. It's like 10 questions. But I sent it out, and I thought it was fun. I'll send it out, see if anybody else wants to take it. And I tell you what, within 20 minutes, I had like 15 responses with answers.
Yeah.
Like, I had texts, Snapchats, like, I was getting emails, I was getting letters. Like, everybody I knew had sent me their results. And I was like, I didn't even text this to you.
What'd you do with all that information, though?
I read every single thing. And then, in my head, I tried to piece it all together. Realized that wasn't the right thing to do because it's not possible anyway. And then I went on with my day. But it is interesting.
I don't like a lot of those tests because I think a lot of them are just loosely based on a algorithm somebody put together in an office on a day where they had 4 hours to, like, hit their quota. Like,
we do not agree on this.
There's some good ones. Like, I do really like I think it's called an anagram test.
The Enneagram.
Enneagram test.
That's a good one, yeah.
I really like that. I wanted to, like, research a little bit of, like, what the backstory on that, like, where it came from. Do you know any of like where the test came from, how it was developed?
I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure it was like a famous psychologist that developed that test. Because I know some of them, like you said, like the animal one is probably just some guy that thought it was fun, you know what I mean, or whatever. But see, here's where we disagree. Is I do agree with what you're saying. They're not always 100% valid. But the reason I like taking the test, like the psychology test anyway, is because it makes you think. So
you can do that on your own, though.
Yes, but it's hard. Like, I mean, it might not be for everybody. Like, maybe it's easier for you. But, like, for me, it's very difficult to view myself from an objective point of view. Like, I'm always encountering biases and, like, different prejudices and stuff that I've built up as I've gone through my life.
That makes a lot of sense.
So when I'm looking at myself, it's hard to get rid of those things that are making me see things certain ways. So when I take tests and stuff like that, it's very objective. So for me, it helps a lot because even if it's just asking questions and giving me answers that don't mean anything, it's still making me think about it from a different point of view. And that's what I like about it. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily that I'm like, oh, that's the answer, you know?
But a lot of people, I've met a lot of people that like make judgments like that. Like astrology is the worst.
But see, I like that though. I think it's cool to think about.
Because it gives you good news that you want to hear. I don't necessarily think it's very true.
What's the problem with it though?
The problem is that people always give me crap because I'm like the worst one apparently. And I don't even want to say it because I don't want people to be like,
say it.
I'm a Gemini, which means...
he's a Gemini. He's a Gemini.
Stop it. Which apparently means that I am two-faced, which doesn't have to be bad. I'm kind of like middle to top third of the pack in terms of quality people, apparently, according to astrology.
It's debatable.
Okay! Got it. But no, like, the astrology says, like, more or less that Geminis are people that you can either like or hate them. There's no like in between. They're either good or bad. There's either someone that you connect with or someone that you don't.
Not neutral, eh?
Not neutral. That's like the story of my life right now. Not neutral.
Oh, you're killing me today, Doug.
I try my best though.
Oh man,
that's all you can do.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, since we were talking about the animal thing, I feel like we should just like tell everybody what our animals were, because I think it's pretty funny.
I actually took the test 3 times and got a different answer the second and third time.
Well, it's not. That's what I'm saying. Is it's not like accurate to a T. But if you get 3 different animals or something, then like each time you probably thought about yourself differently and analyzed different sides of it, and then you were like, oh, like maybe I have these qualities from this. I have these qualities from this. I have these qualities from this. And then when you start putting them together, you've got a better idea of like who you are or why you're thinking certain things.
I want to read you the actual like descriptions for our results.
Are our viewers going to get bored with this?
What?
Are our viewers going to get bored with this?
Absolutely not, because this is like perspective on like
what
this test thinks we are.
It's just like a little.
It's just a little taste.
A little taste.
So what were your results first of all?
So I was a sea lion, and so when I first saw the results, I saw sea lion, and I was like, I don't know how to deal with that. Like a sea lion. That's not what I pictured myself as. I always think...
The first time you were around, you got a sea lion?
Yeah, every time I got a sea lion.
Oh, every time?
Yeah.
Oh.
But here's the thing. This is what I'm explaining. So I always thought of myself as more of like a shark, or you know what I mean? Or different things. And like you guys call me a hyena. So like we all have our different, things. But when I started reading about the sea lion, I was like, oh, that's, pretty accurate, because the whole concept of the sea lion is that they kind of swim in the water, but they're also like on land. So they're very, exploratory, and
versatile,
they're also
would you say?
Versatile, yeah. They also are like very intelligent, but they don't necessarily like to use their intelligence on one thing. So they're not like
what?
Like basically, they're very smart animals, but they don't really put it to anything. They're just like they mostly use it for like communication and social ability. So, like, sea lions are very social. They, like, get onto those, things in California, what I'm talking about? And they, like...
The big buoys or whatever?
Yes.
Is that what they're called?
They're, like, docks, I guess, floating docks.
No, those are not. That can't be the term they use.
Well, I don't know what it is. But it was interesting because they're very social and they like to entertain. So that was the big thing of the sea lion, is that they like to kind of entertain and they like to, be with everybody. And so I was like, that's really true, though, because that's how I am. I like to entertain people. I like to make people laugh. And I like to, explore and, like, swim in the water or be on the land. And I like to socialize. So I thought that the test did a pretty good job of explaining it in a different way. Like, explaining my personality in a non-traditional way. And for me, I really like the animal analogy, because that's kind of how I see things. Like, I think of everything in a very biological kind of way.
Okay, I got like the characteristics that this test gave you.
All right.
As a sea lion.
Oh, you pulled up mine.
Enthusiastic, flirtatious, charming, plucky, and obstinate. What does that mean?
Obstinate? I'm not sure.
It says that these charmers are elegant and agile and sleek and energetic and
That's
eager.
What I'm saying. That's how I am. I'm energetic. I'm eager. I'm slick.
pretty intense if you ask me.
And it said flirtatious, and I was like, no, I'm not flirtatious.
It says some of your careers in hobbies would be performing arts, air traffic control, paramedic, lifeguards, diving, fishing, volleyball, and astrology, which you are into.
Bro, do you know every single career test that I've ever taken in my life? Every single one I've got an air traffic controller on.
What?
Every single one.
Why?
And I was thinking about it. When I took this one, I saw that actually. And I think the reason that I always get air traffic controller is because I enjoy being stressed out. Like, I enjoy... Well, there's a lot of chaos in the air traffic control room, right?
Yeah.
Because you're managing, like, huge things flying through the air.
Millions of dollars.
And kind of colliding or not based on what you do. So I think that's why I always get it. Because I should rephrase this. I don't like being stressed out.
Yeah, what?
But I do enjoy working in chaos. Because it's, like, when I function the best. Like, if I'm under pressure and I've got like a time clock and I've got like a lot of work to do in a very, chaotic way, then I will get it done quickly. That's how I like to do things. I can do it other ways, but I like to be in chaos. I function really well in that.
I would say to a certain extent I do too, but
You do. Like when we're in a big group.
Dude, me and you
do
kill
well.
it when we're
We
in
do
like
pretty
big
well.
social situation. I think we back each other's personalities up pretty well.
Yeah, no, I'd say so.
But how many times did you take the test? You said you got sea lion all times?
Yeah.
The first time I took it, I sent you
It's a lion, right?
the answers immediately. It was a lion. And the characteristics they gave were large, powerful, good-looking, compelling, courageous, and tyrannical.
That last one put a little spin on it. Didn't
You're
it?
right. And
I
then,
can see that though. You like to kind of be in charge.
I do, and I think the second and third time I took the test, I got elephant.
You did. I remember
And
you telling me that.
The big difference between a lion and an elephant personality, according to this test, is basically assertiveness / aggressiveness.
You're still big in presence, but it's like how assertive you're being.
Right, and they're both leaders, but one leads with empathy and compassion, the other leads with focus and aggression and intent.
But I think you kind of go back and forth. You know what I mean? Like depending
Gemini.
Oh, by the way, so everybody else can like be included if they want to. The test is called
Animal and You.
animalandyou.com. So if you go to it, it's animalandyou.com. I think it's 10 questions, right?
Yeah,
Something like that. It's like a small amount of questions, though. It's pretty quick. But it's really interesting. So if you guys are interested in taking it, you can. And then you can read about all your results.
And then drop your results down in the comments. We'll see what you get.
There you go. That would be really cool. Drop your results in the comments for sure. That'd be interesting.
There's also another cool feature that I think I looked up ours. But
the compatibility?
The compatibility. And I think we were pretty much even across the board.
Yeah, we weren't like 100%, but we were like pretty even.
And I actually mentioned this to you recently based off something I heard. It was like those who stand behind you,
yes,
protect them. Those who stand beside you, respect them. And those who oppose you, defeat them. And the reason I think we got like just middle of the road is because you're not like someone that necessarily supports me or opposes me. You're someone that is like
just stay right there.
Another leader.
Yeah.
So like we understand like how we need to lead our packs.
Yeah.
And we understand like how like other obstacles and other leaders try to invade our leadership.
We almost have like an alliance.
Yes.
So when me and Doug go out, like you said, we're both kind of leaders, but it kind of changes around because when Doug's kind of in like a more assertive type of mindset and stuff, like when he's, more in charge, then I kind of just let him do that because, I'll take a little break. And then vice versa. Like if I'm like really adamant about going to this place or doing this thing,
just like, all right,
Doug's
here
like,
we
all
go.
right, let's go. But it's funny because we have this like animal type of mentality and everybody kind of does, but I think we kind of embrace it more.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we go out, like say we're with, a few girls or something and we're all going out downtown, well then one of us is always in the front. All the girls are in the middle, and then the other one is always in the back. Like we always like sandwich it together, and it's always subconscious. Like we never do it on purpose.
I never notice it, and you always point it out. I'm just
That's
like,
because
he's holding up the rear.
It happens every time. Even if there's guys, like that's what really made me think about it was if we go out with like 10 people, say there's like a few guys, a few girls, and us, one of us will be in the front, and one of us will be in the back. Regardless of like because we want to corral everything together, and like we just do it, You know what I mean? But we don't think about it.
I both like and dislike that, though.
Why?
Because sometimes there's a lot of, regardless if like, there's guys or girls in the picture, there's a lot of distaste for what happens, or if like the outcomes or the leader leads you the wrong way, everyone like complains about like what they wanted, and it's kind of like, well, you put me in charge, and this is what I decided to do, and this is what I want. I'm like fine with this, but it's kind of hard to handle a lot of like people that don't like your leadership, and
But we handle it differently there. Cause
what do you mean?
That's the thing is like if someone starts opposing you, you're like, well, let's try and find an amicable solution. Like let's try and all be friendly and nice and like let's try and figure this out.
Yeah.
Whereas my approach is if you don't like what I'm doing, you're gonna do it. Like if you have a better idea, then like let's see you lead.
I've seen you do that actually.
Because I don't like it. Because if someone's following me, then like I need you to be a follower. And if you want to be the leader, then that's fine too. But then you're gonna lead. Like you can't backseat drive when we're going downtown and there's a billion people.
Right.
You know.
I take a very like utilitarian approach to like those things. I like.
You're a lot friendlier about it, which I like.
Apparently, there's two sides to that though. Apparently, there's a time when I am friendly, and there's another time where I'm like, no, screw the opinions. I'm doing this.
Gemini.
Dude, you hit your leg at the same time I did. Just like that.
Oh, you're cracking me up today. I just woke up, by the way, a little bit ago, and I'm a little tired. So this coffee really perks me up.
This is my second cup of coffee today.
Yeah.
I had coffee from Dunkin' this
Told
morning.
me. I'm jealous. I want Dunkin'. But the reason I am so tired today was because, do you know what I did yesterday?
What did you do yesterday?
I Ubered for 9 hours yesterday. No. 10 hours yesterday. So I left the house like just before 2 o'clock, and I Ubered until 12:30.
Why?
So what happened was I got in the car to start Ubering. I figured I'd do it for a handful of hours. And then I started having a blast because I kept getting all these different people in the car that were just like giving me the best stories. I mean, like I had the most interesting people in the car yesterday. I had guys that were like, this one guy just started working for the government like a couple days ago. So he was telling me about how
a government worker.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. But he's telling me about the transition from private to government and like how that's going. So that was really interesting. Mm-hmm. I had this one lady that used to be the top designer, like the lead designer for Ralph Lauren for 25 years. And I was like, that's cool. I told her, I was like, I'm wearing all Ralph Lauren right now. I love Ralph
I'm sponsored.
I do, for real. So me and her had a great time, and she was telling me about how she transitioned to, now she does celebrity and politician, like media stuff. So basically, if someone needs to go on the camera, like her and her sisters have this business where they train them. Mm-hmm. So she was telling me about all of these different things in her life, though. And I had a bunch of people like that yesterday. And it was so interesting because, like, just seeing all these different perspectives. Like, all these people are coming into Tampa or St. Pete from New York or, you know, wherever they're going, whatever they're doing, mm-hmm. and everything is different. And it's just so fascinating to me. Like, I really, really enjoy hearing all these different things from all these people. I had a blast yesterday.
Yeah, but isn't it kind of, like, intimidating?
What do you mean?
Like, when someone's like, yeah, I was, like, the lead designer over at, like, your favorite brand for, like, 30 years. No biggie, just drive me to where I want to go. Don't you be like, wow, this is a really important person in my car, and I already like them.
I don't know. I mean, because I did think about that yesterday, actually, like exactly how you're saying it.
Really?
Because when she told me that, I was like, I've been wearing Ralph Lauren for a while. That's like my favorite brand. I love Ralph Lauren.
You design my clothes.
Well, exactly. I was thinking about it, and I was like, that is funny. She's been designing my clothes. But to me, it doesn't... I don't know. It's weird because I don't think about it that way. Like, I think of every person as like a person, like just a person, and then whatever they do is whatever they do. But I don't think of anybody as like higher or lower or like, you know what I mean? Like the guy that got into my car last week that had like no teeth and stuff and has me drop him off at the liquor store first. I had just as much fun talking to him and learning about his story as I did talking to this Ralph Lauren designer. You know what I mean? So to me, it's not really like, I'm not like, oh, she's this or he's that, like a UFC fighter. Like, oh, he's a UFC fighter. Mm-hmm. To me, it doesn't really, like, work that way. I'm just, like, very interested in whatever it is. Like, whoever gets in that car has my utmost interest.
For me, it's hard to, like, not, when you're interested in something, to not, like, I don't want to say put it on a pedestal or glorify it, but let's just say that, not to, like, put it in, like, awe. It's like, you don't know a lot about it, but you're interested in it. So it's, like, this one thing that you fantasize about.
Yeah. No, I mean, I definitely know what you mean, because I think this kind of shifted for me a little bit, because when I was younger, I thought everybody was kind of above me, So I was always like looking up and trying to like figure out how to get up there.
Yes.
And then there was a period of my life where I thought I was up there and everybody else was lower. So I've been on both kind of sides of it. Mm-hmm. And when I was up and thinking everybody else was lower, that sucked too, because everybody's like, no, you're not. You're not higher than us. And so it gets like, you know what I mean? You get kind of punched around and kicked around, and like people have to bring you back down, and then vice versa. Like if you're at the bottom and you're looking up, then it's like you can work really hard and like it encourages you to do a lot of growing. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, it's like once you realize that it's all even and that we're all kind of the same, you know what I mean? We all have things that we're better or worse at, or like things that are good and bad in our life, or good and bad decisions or whatever. Mm-hmm. But once you realize that it's kind of an even playing field for everybody, it just made me a lot happier. It made things a lot easier in life. It makes talking to people super easy. Because now it's like, I'm not going into it like, oh, like you're a designer? Or like you're a CEO? Ooh. Or I'm not like, oh, you're homeless? You know what I mean? Like there's no like prejudice going into it, because I'm just interested in whatever they're saying.
Isn't that like a part of human nature though, is biases?
Yes, but that's the thing, is like I still think those things and feel those things, but I'm not reacting to them. Because I'm like, you have to, like, I put it aside. Neutral. Exactly. Because if I reacted to those things, then I wouldn't have had any of the conversations I had yesterday. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
But it does take, like, time to learn. Because I've always, like, had problems trying to figure that out. And it's starting to kind of come to me more and more. But, like, I'm still young. I could be completely wrong.
You
know what I mean? I have no idea.
I don't know. I think it's a good, like, thing to think about.
But there might be people higher and lower. I'm not sure. Like, that's just the way I'm seeing it right now.
I probably think of myself a little too high right now. Like, just because you say, like, putting it in perspective, like just from, like, dates I've been on, and, like, people I've talked to, specifically girls, like, and it's not, like, a dig on them, but I do kind of, like, put them lower on my scale to make myself feel better. Just so I kind of like get a little more comfortable. Doesn't mean I'm still not like.
I know what you mean. I think you're phrasing this in a not so good way.
Oh, phrase it better so I don't say something bad. I mean well, I swear.
So I think is what Doug is trying to What Doug is trying to communicate. I messed up.
Sorry.
Relax, okay?
Enjoy the ride.
Spilling it. But no, I think is what you're kind of trying to say is like, if you're going into an interaction with a girl that you're like interested in, or if you're going out and you're like meeting girls downtown or something in this scenario, that if you put them up, then it's going to be very difficult to have a conversation and like be confident and be okay. Mm-hmm. Whereas like if you think of yourself as a little higher, then it may be easier to do the approach and like, you know, talk to them and stuff. But I don't think that you're actually putting yourself higher. I think it's more or less just like a confidence thing to get you into the situation to talk to her.
Yes.
Because whenever you talk to them, like I see you talk to girls and stuff, mm-hmm. and you don't really act that way. So I don't think that that's necessarily what's going on. I think it's just like you're trying to hype yourself up a little bit before you get involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I have like a whole pregame ritual.
There you go. What is Doug's pregame ritual?
For dates?
I'm really interested.
Funny enough, all my dates that I've been on this year, I've called you on the way to. I'm pretty sure they're...
I feel kind of special.
I mean, maybe not every single date I've been on, but with every single girl, at least one of the dates I went on with them, you were involved in the pregame ritual in some sense.
Cool.
Cool. Cool. And I try to do it as early as possible, like when I first leave, because I know you're going to talk about like a million things, even if you're trying to like hype me up and like motivate me and make me more confident, like give me a little ego boost. It goes on too long. But what I do...
I'm doing too much hype up.
But it's so needed, and it's definitely worth it. So I appreciate it more than you know.
Go ahead. I have to tell you a story, though. Go ahead.
Okay. Say the basis of my pregame ritual for dates is I talk to Nick, tell him what I'm going to do. I try to be non-reactive and very, like, mellow as, like, you try to hype me up. Because, like, this... I don't know what the game is, but if I'm over anxious or like overworked up about like going on this date, whether I think the girl's too pretty or whatever like that, I'm putting her on a pedestal, whatever. If you start hyping me up, you're like, no, you're on that level, dude. I'll be like, yeah. And then I'll just start like, I'll rap and listen to like EDM songs I really like.
Freestyling helps so much though. It helps so much.
I listen to like a bunch of songs that I like that I could sing every word to, that I feel confident singing every word to because it's building the confidence. And then I start freestyling because my mind when I want to be like flirtatious and like creative,
Like witty.
Yes, I have to like unlock that, and freestyling is a great way to do that.
Tell me about it.
And when you're at like the top of your like confidence and like hype up energy, and you start freestyling,
And you get some good ones in there?
yes, there's like some bars that you spit are just like great, and you're like, there's no way no one can't like that.
Yeah.
So I guess the pregame ritual is just about confidence, but like
Just like getting yourself mentally prepared to like take on anything.
yes,
Yeah.
creative and witty is like my goal.
Yeah.
But what was the thing that reminded you of?
So yesterday, like another Uber story that I just like.
True confessions of an Uber
I
driver.
can't believe this happened. I couldn't believe it. So is what happens is I get this guy. He's like my last ride of the night, second last ride of the night, and I pick him up from this little like hospital thing, like a little like care facility thing. And there's a couple ambulances out front, so I guess something had happened.
Yeah.
And so I go to pick him up. He gets in the car. He goes, "Bro, that paramedic girl was so fine." And so he starts telling me, like, we just met, like, we just saw each other. He starts telling me, though, how fine this girl was that he wanted to go talk to. And so me and him were discussing it, and I was like, what do you mean? Like, go get her number. You got to go.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got to go now. And so
Clock's
he's like, no, I can't. And I was like, bro, you need to get out of this vehicle and go get that girl's number. You just said that you thought she was fine.
Did you pull over?
No, I put the car in park. I put the car in park. I literally said, dog, the car is in park right now. I was like, you need to get out and go get that number. And he was like, okay. So he gets out of the car.
No
He
way.
gets out of the car.
He does it?
He goes and talks to the girl. And then he didn't end up getting the number because she said that she was like at work or whatever, so she couldn't.
She's
but
trying
whatever.
to save somebody's life.
Whatever, it's fine. So he gets back in the car, and I was like, so how'd it go? Like, did you get the number? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like grilling him about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, no, I didn't get the number. But he's like, I'm really glad I did it, though.
Yes.
And he was like, I'm really glad that, you know, I went through with it. Like, and he was thanking me, and I was like, yes. Like, I'm so happy for you. I was like, I was pumping over here, like, in the front seat, like, is he going to get the number? Is he going to get the number? Like, I was so excited for him.
What do you think that feeling was after like the rejection, but like glad you did it? Is that like a confidence boost, or is that like a like relief of like anxiety or something like that?
I'm not really sure because it doesn't really make a lot of sense. Like, you would think after you get rejected, you'd be like a little, like, yeah, a little irritated or upset or whatever. Well, I don't know.
The
like,
audacity to say
whatever
no to me.
negative emotion, I guess is what I'm saying. But
Yeah.
it seems like whenever I get turned down by someone, or him in this case, or whoever, there is a positive like flip to it, and I think it's because you're like on the fence about doing it,
Mm-hmm.
and like you decided to do it. So basically, you like accepted the challenge, and even though it didn't give you the best result, you still did it. You know what I mean? Like, you still accomplished the challenge.
You tried to take advantage of the opportunity that was presented. You didn't miss an opportunity.
Yes,
That's
you
a
didn't
sucky
miss the
feeling.
opportunity. Yeah. And I think your brain knows that somehow. Like, it knows that you could have left, but you didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know exactly why that happens, but it definitely does make you feel good. Yeah. But I thought it was just interesting. I could not believe, like, I was trying my best to hype this guy up. Like, I was giving him everything. And I was just going, man. I was like trying to get him out of that car to go talk to this girl as hard as I could. And when he did it, I was like, oh. I was like,
Good
I said,
stuff.
if you go get this girl's number, you will make my day. I was like, I've been in this car since 2 p.m. It's like, please get that
You
girl's
needed
number.
some excitement to happen, huh?
Yeah. But yeah, we ended up having a great time. And he was like, yeah, if you want to come out sometime, like, me and my friends go out downtown and stuff. So we ended up having a blast.
That's good.
Yeah. I just had to tell the story, though. Because I was like, yeah. Are we wrapping up? Do you have anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. I'm enjoying the ride.
How much time do we have on here? How long have we been oh, shoot. We've been recording long today. We're at 48 minutes
You're
and
lying.
38 seconds.
I think you're gonna have to cut it there. That's
Yeah.
a long video.
This is a long video.
It's gonna be a long
This is going to
processing
take me
time.
2 weeks to upload.
Maybe.
All right. Well, I guess that wraps it up. We are going to go to the gym and get a sick pump on.
Got to.
Sick pump.
Got to.
So, we're going to get going.
Absolutely.
That's pretty much it for today. So, this is Absurdity. This is Doug. I'm Nick. We'll see you next week.
Peace.
Peace.